Today I'll be talking about using Stylus for CSS development. I'll also be working on a camp prompt, and then I'll also be talking more about the streaming calendar and the upcoming network. Well, I am so glad that I could be here following you and World Anvil, so that somebody could raid. I'm just thrilled that you guys actually did, and it's part of what's going to help make our upcoming network just awesome, because we'll be able to raid each other and know who's on and when, and I am just super excited about it. So those are the things that I'll be working on today. I also plan to raid Dermoria, also known as DM Stretch, who's on right after me. So hopefully they will be on and we can raid them, and it'll be really fun. And do you guys remember what the raid call for the Fox channel is? It's Ganbate, and I will type it in there for you guys later for when we go raid. Just a couple of points in the stream news. I looked into stream points. I have to hit affiliate level first, and I have not quite yet, so I will get there. We will get there. So if you guys have any requests for how we want to utilize points in the channel, I'm totally open to that. There's a couple things I've been thinking about, maybe like a stretch check, because I usually kind of hunch over, that's the right word. And so that would be good for me. And then maybe like a craft check, so people can talk about what we're working on, me and anybody else who's in the channel. And then maybe like you do, Hefe, have a simple question. And yes, Hefe, you can use that idea too. Lorraine says, Google Calendar goals have people streaming on all the time slots, so we can just pass the torch around. Yes, and that was my hope. So, yeah, I don't think it'll take very long to get there either, Danny. I'm hoping that everybody can help each other reach affiliate really quickly. Raid incoming? Uh-oh. That'll be fun. Hefe says, I have questions, showcase, read article, save, and hydrate checks. The hydrate check is awesome. So I might steal that if that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate the permission too. So that's, and you guys have noticed I have green screen today. Oh, hi, World Anvil! Welcome, welcome! All the light up the forges. Welcome, everyone, welcome! It's so wonderful to see you all. You guys are awesome. Hi! Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, everyone. You guys are wonderful. As everybody comes in, thank you again, World Anvil, for the raid, and everyone for showing up. You guys are awesome. In the stream today, I'll be talking about using Stylus for CSS development, working on a camp prompt, and talking about the streaming calendar and our upcoming network. So just so you guys know what's going to be coming in. Oh my gosh, look at all of you, you're wonderful. Hi. And I do plan to do a raid today. We'll be raiding Dermoria, also known as DM Stretch. They just updated on the calendar, so they'll be right after me. So I'm excited about that. Just a quick note, next stream for me, which will be Thursday, I'm having some technical difficulties with my extra. Oh, I see you in the chat, DM Stretch. Sounds like I'm in a fishbowl. Okay, I will pop my headphones on and see what we can do about that, okay? Thank you. Let's see, I will turn up the gain. Does that sound a little better? I need to work on my sound area because it's kind of a walls around here. but I turned up the gain just a little bit. So if you guys can't hear me, go ahead and say. Yeah, sorry, secondhand. I should probably allow you some linking permissions, but somebody told me to take that out and I didn't. I'm still learning about how all of this works. So, hey everyone! Yes, audio is only coming through one of the earbuds. I tried to fix that by ordering another cable, but it's the wrong end. So I'll try again. So yes, for now we only have sound in one side. So a little quiet. I will turn it up a little bit more. We will get more sounds from around the house too. Still sound muted. Okay. Well, that's about as high as I can go on the gain. So after that, I will have to just play with sound and do some recording. So, okay. Well, thank you guys for letting me know. I really appreciate that. But I don't want to hear myself the whole time because it does get quite loud in my headphones. So I'll catch up in the notes. People are saying hello. You can hear me good. Okay, Lorraine says, wonder if we could get some old World War II propaganda posters like Keep Calm and Stream On and ESC Wants You. Yes, we should for the network. I would love to see some of those. I'm working on the back end of that, so the back end of the site, so that if anybody wants to come up with stuff for that, that'd be awesome. Danny says, I totally wasn't working on those. Awesome, Danny. Love to see them. World Anvil Chin, propaganda posters. And yes, Lorraine, I agree. Danny should do it. Verdicts ago, yes. I only have sound in one. I was just explaining to people that I bought the wrong double connector for my sound box, so I'll replace that. So right now it's only coming through one. I'm learning how to do all of this sound stuff, so forgive me. Okay, back to channel news just real quick. I may have to delay Thursday's craft podcast. Oh, thank you for the follow, DM Strush. Bless you, thank you. Because I'm having troubles getting 2 webcams to work on my poor little laptop. It can only handle so much. So if I can't figure that out, in order to demonstrate null binding, I really need the view over my shoulder. Oh, thank you, Squirrely Jedi, for the follow. So I need the view over my shoulder in order to show how the craft works. So if I can't get that going, we'll put it off a week. We did have 2 votes in last stream's chat for Kumihimo and knitting, so those will be coming up after that. All right, so on to today's topics. I will be doing a write-up for this in the World Anvil blog, but I was hoping to do a video for it, and this is my test case. So thank you for putting up with me as I work out how to do this and record it and make it make sense while I'm talking, because I talk a million miles an hour, and the blog is a little more logical. Oh, well, goodbye, Daiso Chicken. Thank you, Chikara. Wow. Daiso Chikara, thank you for stopping by. It was wonderful to see you. So, we're going to talk about the Stylus Extension, and I really, really enjoy using it. I talked with Demi about this a little bit, and I was like, okay, can I put this on, yes, chicken, haha, can I put this on the blog? And he said yes, because he just developed what we have in World Anvil, the CSS editor, just to have something. And so I asked permission if I could put information about this on the the blog. So, oh, thank you secondhand for the sweet note about the 15 more follows. Yeah, eventually I would love to be able to get to affiliate, but that will come in time, and I really appreciate any of the follows. So thank you, Sharon Beatty. I really appreciate the follow. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. So I'm working on developing a series on how to develop your own CSS themes for World Anvil so that you can make your world look really cool and unique and really show off how you want your world to look. This is obviously not necessary for anything on World Anvil, but it can help add the feel of your world. So so you don't have to threaten people. You guys are awesome. Funny. So we'll be doing this series, and we'll start with one tool that we can use to develop the themes for our world. Okay. Breathe. Because we're poof. I'm gonna hop over to my notes on this. So the tool that I really like to use is called Stylus, and I'll give you a real quick overview on how it works. Chrome plus can. You guys can see it, right? Oh, yes, you can see it. Okay. I had to hop over. I have part of my Streamlabs window covered. So you guys can see it. This is kind of a real quick view of what Stylus looks like. DM Stretch, we will help you get to your affiliate level eventually. We'll do our best, okay? Laura says we need the whole streaming core to affiliate by the end of summer camp. That would be awesome. So, oh, thank you, Laura, for following DM Stretch. You're awesome. And Hefe did. You guys are wonderful. So, I utilize Stylus in order to develop my CSS for my worlds. This is my author world, and this is the tool that I used to develop my author world. I've got, I think, over 3,000 lines of code for this in order to do everything that I did for it, because I wanted it pretty much all set up, and I did coding for the tooltips, and I did coding for the stuff that World Anvil is built on. Bootstrap. I did the Bootstrap classes, and I did everything that I could right away to get done. Hey, Q, good to see you. Yes, Kahuna, I'm totally in for that too. Sharon Beatty says, how do you follow when not in the channel? If you go to that person's channel, there's, Twitch TV and then the / and then their username, then there's a button on there, so. But it took me a long time to develop this, and now that I've gotten the basis for my code, my other world, Vein of the Shadow, we'll pop over here. Oh, you can click on their name in chat and follow too? That is awesome. See, I learn something new every day. Thank you, Laura. Floating fox. I had to have the hat, otherwise my head blends into the green screen. Okay, thank you, Laura, for explaining that. So it took me much quicker. It took me like less than a week to develop my CSS for Vein of the Shadow, just because it was much easier once I had a template. So I'm going to give a real quick overview on how to do this. If you guys would like to install and get the extensions, I'll give you some links. It's giving me some troubles here. here are some links for the extension in Firefox, the extension in Chrome, and then where to get user styles for stuff already. Like I use the Insomniac theme for Stylus because I don't like bright white themes. I like dark stuff. So, yeah. Just catching up in the chat here. Okay, so people are saying click on their name, then in the pop-up click their name again, and that will open a new window to their channel. Okay, that's good to know. Yes, Laura, you and Hefe are just like on the same wave today. So, and thank you Secondhand for the link to my channel. You're a sweetie. Okay, so back to my thoughts here. Why I started using this is I was using the little CSS editor in World Anvil, and with 2,000 lines of code and my slow little laptop, it would slow down on World Anvil really bad, and I couldn't edit in the little editor, and it was just driving me crazy. So I was then I went to Notepad++ and would paste it in there, but I couldn't see what I was doing live. So I discovered the Stylus extension. So this is kind of how I got to it. On the Stylus web pages, it says that it allows you to redesign your favorite websites with Stylus, an actively developed and community-driven user styles manager, easily install custom themes for popular online repositories, or create, edit, and manage your own personalized CSS style sheets. So you can restyle, say, YouTube with this, just for you as you view it. But I was using it to develop my code for my sites. So some of the pros are that it allows you a preview of what you're doing. So if we enable this this style, so we're going to make our headers H1, which is actually the title on our World Anvil pages. We're going to turn them blue. If I pop over here, poof, it's blue. And if we turn it off, it's no longer blue. So, oh, bye Sharon Beatty. Thank you so much for stopping by. So you can have previews of what you've got going on in your coding. You can also have variations. So if we go over to, yes, we'll save. If we go over to the manager, you can have all sorts of variations, you know, and different name things. But I just kind of have one for every world I have, and in any page that I have CSS for. But you can create variations on it. You could have like a Liminal Chronicles 1.0, Liminal Chronicles 2.0, however you want to do it. Where's my generic testing one again? You can also, in here, put version numbers, which is really what started me keeping track of my things, my changes. So in order to give it a name, you type in right here, and then you can type in the version number, and then these are comments in CSS if you guys aren't familiar with that, and then you can just type, version 1.0 added blue to the page title header, and then you save it, and those comments will be there. You can style Stylus itself, because, like I said, I hate bright white things that assault my eyes. So I have the Stylus Insomniac theme installed. Otherwise, it's super duper bright. When you are editing anything for colors, you can use the color picker and it shows you an example of that color. So if we wanted to do, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as far as, I think we need 6 numbers for hex, then we can see what that color looks like. So, okay. Question from Mergen Dory. Do you have any recommendations on where to learn CSS? I had to learn CSS when I started here on World Anvil a year ago, and I went to, I looked up everything on pretty much on W3 schools. So, W3 schools. And if not, I did a Google search, and it usually ended up on, I can't remember the name of the blog that I followed. But anyway, here on W3 Schools, I'll give you the link here. Yeah, I refer to this all the time because I don't keep all of this in my head. I can't. I have a limited memory, and most of that memory has to do with things for my family, so I have to make notes for everything. And this is mainly why I started Hacks and Help, so I could have notes for myself, and then I was happy to share them. There also was another CSS blog I like because they do all sorts of crazy things with it. CSS Tricks. Yes, it's CSS Tricks. I like a lot. There's a lot of other really good ones, but, whoops, I have that in there twice. There we go. I follow a lot of things on CSS Tricks. Some of the things are a little beyond me, and a lot of them have to do with things that aren't just CSS. We can't use JavaScript and stuff unless you're like one of the really high up tiers, and it's like beyond Sanctum. It's a deity. I can't remember. But so just be aware that not everything on CSS Tricks is going to be applicable to what we can do. So yeah, I almost always use reference docs when doing my code too. But I think that, yes, that leads to the next topic. Inside Stylus, there's what's called a Lint Checker. It's right over here, CSS Linter. So you can either have CSS Lint or Style Lint, and I don't know what the difference in names is, but they offer a little bit different checks. But they're both very, very good. So what happens is if, say, I forget to put in a bracket, it will tell me, hey, I expected a bracket, and I can go to that line, click over here, go to that line, and pop in a bracket, and the issue goes away. I love these checks because I'm really bad at checking for things. If I've looked at code over and over and over, I'm not going to find where I was missing a semicolon. So, all right. Megan Dory says this is really helpful. Awesome, I'm glad it's helpful. Lengna, movie time. Am I going to save this one for later? I think I did hit record. Yes, I am recording. So we can save it for later, and it should be there for at least 2 weeks. And then if it's, I plan on re-recording this a less interrupted version for the blog article that I'll be doing. So there you go. Well, hopefully, DM Stretch, this will help you learn CSS, because I started from just about nothing. I heard about and started tinkering with CSS as soon as it came out, and that was a long time ago. And then I hadn't touched it for like well over a decade, okay? I don't remember exactly what year it came out, but it's been a long time. So I had to learn. Everything has changed. You know, when I was first doing CSS, you know, you could do the flashing text, and that was like the big thing in CSS, flashing text. So it totally dates me. This was like the 90s. But again, I stepped away and I've had to relearn it. So it's very doable. Just pick one thing and learn it, pick another thing and learn it. You can't drink from the fire hose and learn everything at once. So thank you, Lengna. I appreciate the good luck in my stream, and hug beams back to you. So I love the Lint Checker. It really, really helps me. I'll show you guys a little bit more about debugging later. Another thing I absolutely love is it handles tabs. I love tabs. I can't view code without tabs. It drives me crazy. So this is really, really helpful to me to be able to have tabs. I showed you guys the sample color box. Oh, also it gives you a drop-down menu of the attribute options. So if we're going to do background, I can just type tab and it will finish it off for me, and then I can say NON and it'll pop up none and type tab, and it fills it in for me. But those attributes that it fills in after the background, it will give you a list of everything available from everywhere. So it's not specific to which one you're using, okay? It has a wonderful search function. So if you type Control F and I want to find color, it will highlight it. Oh, and if you hit enter, it goes away. I don't know why. So, but if you have, let's see, if we look up user style, because user style is in here more than once, you can hop through it and then go to each one. And also, I don't know why it's not showing up on here, but it will show in your scroll bar. And I don't know why my scroll bar isn't showing up. Oh, probably because I don't have scroll set up. Let's see. There we go. So it shows up in your scroll bar where they're at, and then you can zip over to that section. So Curlian says raffle. Danny Adventures tries the fire hose things. Yeah, I've had to do a lot of learning via fire hose. When I first started programming at my first job, I was learning C out of the book. I had done a little bit of C, but I didn't know much at all. I looked everything up in the book, and it was learning by drinking from the fire hose, and it just doesn't work very well. So, been there, it just doesn't work. Yeah, I love the scroll bar thing. So, Laura Bone says that that's how she did it. She just learned a little bit at a time. Yep, pick one thing, try it. Pick another thing, and try it. Now, how to use Stylus CSS? Well, that's what we're talking about. Hopefully, I can help you guys with this. And if you have any questions, feel free to to catch me in Discord and ask, or stop by my Discord server and ask, because if I'm not there, then somebody else might be able to answer too. Because I do actually sleep sometimes. Not very much lately, but sometimes. The other really big pro for me on this is that it has a huge undo cache. I really put this to the test when I was working on my theme. I had messed up a couple things, like in a ton of places. I thought, oh, I'll just do a massive replace with this, and it was, oh my goodness, I put the undo to the test. I can't remember how many there were, but there was a lot, and it has a massive undo cache, which really was helpful to me. There are a couple cons. If you use any of the illegal words or characters in the WA classes that the World Anvil parser just takes out completely from our code and stuff, such as container or author, it will work in Stylus, but if you paste it into the WA CSS editor and then save it and refresh, it won't necessarily work. So you're going to have to be aware of that, okay? It doesn't actually it doesn't do versioning for you. So what you can do in Chrome, you can export your work. Otherwise, you can copy and paste everything out of here, just Control A, copy it, Control C, and then paste it into a text editor. I put all of my work like that into a text editor, and then save it into my GitHub folder and back it up onto GitHub that way. But I will talk about GitHub another day. I love GitHub. I just discovered it like a couple months ago, and I am absolutely hooked on it. So we'll talk about that another day, but just know it's possible to use that. So let's go and create a sheet. Let's save this. Okay. So we'll catch up here in the notes. So Rin says, I made a private world where I can play with as much as I like without breaking anything in my actual world. That is an awesome idea. And then you can just transfer it over into your real world. I think that's an awesome idea. Danny Adventures likes the undo cache, and she says that's why I'm afraid to touch it yet. I don't know what I'm allowed to touch in WA yet or not. Okay. I will write that down as a note. Let me grab some sticky notes and we can talk about that because it's not too hard to figure that out, but I don't know if I can get it in today because we're already at half an hour, and so I will write what we can, that I want to do a thing about that. What can do in CSS? Okay, so I have a note. Okay. Hefe says I should use GitHub more often than you do. Yeah, all of us should. I've been starting to use it more and more and more now that I'm becoming more familiar with it. Yeah, Hefe, as long as the CSS is under this user CSS selector, it should be fine, but not everybody knows exactly how that works, so I will show people where that is in the CSS, or in the HTML page, so they can kind of see what was going on. Mergendor, I wish there was a reference somewhere on WA that gave a list of attributes that were allowed. You can pretty much do anything except what you can't, okay? So it's basically a list of what you can't, and there won't, because I'm not very good at it, but I was doing some help with editing the codex, and I wanted to put a list of everything that we can't use. And I was told no, and that is for security reasons. So we won't ever have a codex article of everything we cannot use, okay? So just so you know. Yes, the codex has a section about it, but we don't have a complete list. But there's a lot of the common ones that people come up against. Secondhand Samurai says, Mercador, we will get a codex article if there isn't one. There is one, and Ando will stay on it. Yeah, Ando has been just amazing. They've been keeping it updated faster than I can get to anything for the codex, so they are really the slayer. Yes, Corellian, you're right. Ando is the slayer. So, okay, gonna hop into creating a style sheet for our worlds. Once you install Stylus, you open up the Stylus here and you go to manage, okay? And that's how you get to this screen. This is the management screen. So if you want to create a new style sheet, just go to write user style, and I always have as user CSS clicked. That way you get the nice little title bits at the top. So just click write new style, bing, we have a new style. Then we have our beautiful new style sheet, and we want to give it a name because otherwise it will always be called empty @name replaces the default template, and that's really not helpful. So we're going to call it streaming test. Give it some meaningful name, much more meaningful than what I'm giving mine today, okay? I like I said, I usually name mine after my world, so Liminal Chronicles or View from the Den or whatever world I'm working on, since I pretty much only use this for my World Anvil stuff. I don't use the @Mozilla document stuff. That's for just displaying it on a particular page. So if you were styling for YouTube, you would fill this bit out, and it would be put down right here, and it would only work on, say, YouTube. But I don't use this because it doesn't help my overall CSS for World Anvil. So I don't do that. Then want to save it so it has the name. Oops, it doesn't have any, it won't let me save because I don't have anything in there, so we'll add something in there quick. CSS, let's change the H2 titles to blue just for fun. And save it. Then if we go here, so my H2 titles, I don't know if I have any on that page. Do I have any on this page? There they are, right there. H2 titles, right there. Blue, bam. So just remember to save. I have had my browsers crash on occasion and I lost a lot of work, and I tried really hard not to cry those days. So just make sure you save a lot, okay? Then when you're done editing, just copy this, save it somewhere, and then when you're ready, I select all here, delete it, paste the new bit, and then save. I'm not going to hit save because I don't want it to right now, but save it and you'll get your little pop-up that says saved, and then it's active on your world, and you can make sure that everything worked and you didn't have any sneaky like container or body or author in there that doesn't work for the coding. So I'm just going to refresh the page so we don't have that. Okay. That is basically kind of how to use it. Let's talk about debugging really quick, and then we'll see if we have time to do prompt work, and if not, then we'll talk about the streaming calendar and network stuff. So debugging with Stylus, again, you guys got just a peek at it. I absolutely love that it has a list of issues. Let's see, let's give it another one. We'll make up some thing that doesn't work. Backwash is no attribute. So it says unknown property. So pretend we have a really long set of code. Just click on it. It will take us to that line, and we can rename it from something really badly named. And again, if you get a list, you can just use up or down arrows, go through the list, pick the one you want, and hit tab, and it'll put that in there for you. For people like me who can never ever have typed well, this is awesome. So that really helps me. If you have a missing semicolon, it tells you there was an expected semicolon. It'll tell you the line that it expected the semicolon was the line before. You just go put that in. If you're missing a bracket, it will tell you expected bracket. You click there, go in and add your bracket. If you have a really long set of this and you want to make sure that you have a closed bracket, you can click on it and it will highlight it in the yellow. Can you see that there? It highlights it in yellow so you can see which one you're working on and make sure that it's closed correctly. If you have duplicated properties, it will tell you also. So, do I not have the right lint checker for that? Style lint. Usually it tells you if there are duplicate properties. I don't know why it's not doing that right now. Maybe they updated the style, the lint. Anyway, it usually does that. It will also tell you if there's an option you didn't have that was right. So if we say color is 10 pixels, it tells you that it expected that kind of option. So if we do border is one that I always get messed up on. Border, there we go. Here it's telling me, because I don't remember what goes in border and what order you have to have, so it'll tell you what order you have to have things in there. I also found out that if you're doing class selectors, and this is for advanced stuff, so don't worry if you don't know about this yet. Someday you'll get into class selectors. It's really handy, but if you type in like class star equals, so it's going to look for anything in the class name that has this text in it. So pretend we're looking for anything with the class name that has my name in it, Amy in it, then it will really help you. But if you have a number in there to start with, it gives you an error right away. You can't have class names that start with numbers. So catching up on the text here. I'm glad it's helpful. Laura Bone says, if 2 years ago you had told me I'd be excited about a CSS editor, I would have laughed in your face. Damn, how things have changed. Yeah, same here. I wasn't excited about this a couple years ago, but to have a world of my own to design, it really, really made me excited. Showdown says, I have to go. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and good luck to you too, dear. Songbird says she has to head out, so thank you for stopping. Hopefully this was of help to you. So just when you're working on here, remember to save often, and it will tell you, it won't let you save if there's an error. So it can have a warning, but not a red error. Okay. So that is my really quick whirlwind tour of how to use Stylus, and I don't know if we have time to work on prompt stuff, so let's talk about AJ Auditory. Yeah, totally okay. You leave when you need to, okay? That's just, you gotta do what you gotta do, okay? All right, so catching up on my notes here. Secondhand says save and remember offsite backups. Dropbox is your friend. Yes, actually, my GitHub folder is also in my Dropbox. So being the paranoid woman that I am, I back up everything at least 2 different ways. So just so you know, when I was a programmer, one of my friends was the system administrator, and he would always say, when it came to backups, 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So, because backups can fail. So make sure that you have at least 1 backup, if not 2